Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we are taking a deeply personal, narrative approach to unpack the raw and, honestly, kind of uncomfortable realism of Beef Season 2. Rather than just giving you a standard review, we're going to explore how all that intense on-screen chaos actually acts as a massive mirror for our own real lives.
You know, this quote really sets the stage perfectly. Our source material today isn't some dry, traditional piece of criticism. It's actually the introspective journey of a mother who, right in the middle of raising a 15-month-old baby, found herself forced to confront parts of herself she usually avoids. So what is it about this specific show that triggers such a profound journey of self-discovery? Let's get into it.
All right, Section 1, The Mirror of Messy Emotions.
The emotions you see portrayed here, they absolutely aren't exaggerated. They are painfully real. We're talking deep anger, shame, and loneliness. For the author, who felt completely trapped in the repetitive routine of childcare, these unresolved, messy emotions acted as an incredible catalyst. The show literally woke something up inside of her. She felt this desperate, urgent need to capture her fleeting thoughts before they just evaporated, completely breaking her daily routine to create a really personal, intellectual breakthrough.
Moving on to Section 2, Trauma, Ambition, and Relationships.
Let's look at how our past wounds completely shape our adult partnerships. Take Ashley. She's driven by childhood abandonment, and her so-called ambition is really just a desperate need for health insurance and a rock-solid family structure. Now contrast that with Austin, who is just incredibly laid back and actively runs away from pressure. When you have one partner desperately trying to pull the other one up just to achieve a baseline sense of security, it causes this immense, quiet strain.
But consider this paradox for a second. Can someone being too giving actually create toxic tension in a romantic relationship?
And this brilliantly illustrates the point. Picture this darkly comedic scenario. Austin is incredibly considerate, like so considerate that he takes the absolute last red Gatorade, the exact drink Ashley specifically asked for, and he just gives it to a total stranger. Meanwhile, Ashley silently stews. Because, it's not actually about the drink at all, is it? It's about the intense resentment that builds up when your partner prioritizes being the good guy to random strangers over their own significant other.
Ashley's constant aching need for reassurance touched a seriously deep nerve for the author. She found herself wondering, if she ever separated from her husband, would her own child grow up inheriting that exact same deep-seated relationship insecurity? It's just an incredibly powerful moment where a fictional character unearths a very real mother's most vulnerable fears.
So, it begs the question, how much conflict is actually normal in love? Keep that in the back of your mind as we shift gears to look at a much more volatile couple.
Which brings us to Section 3, The Exhaustion of Unequal Love. Okay, meet Lindsay and Josh in Seoul. Talk about a roller coaster. Their dynamic is incredibly toxic. They are constantly fighting, breaking up, getting back together, all while claiming they are deeply, profoundly in love. But ultimately, when everything completely falls apart and Josh gets sent to prison, he desperately clings to the relationship. Lindsay, though, she cleanly cuts the cord. It's a pretty brutal reminder that love isn't always a two-way street. Sometimes one person is anchored way heavier than the other.
And because they don't have children, Lindsay pours her entire need for comfort, love, and stability straight into her dog Burberry. In the middle of an incredibly chaotic and unstable life, she finds this one single thing that she can nurture and control. It's such a deeply human, totally instinctual response to a profound lack of fulfillment in her life.
Next up, Section 4, Systems, Stereotypes, and Survival.
Zooming out from those personal ties for a minute, the author had this crazy realization. Her former boss at a Queensland nursing home was exactly like the fictional character Josh. She used to think her real-life boss was just naturally irritable and difficult to be around. But watching the show, it clicked. His behavior was actually the result of crushing systemic pressure and the immense weight of being in middle management. It's a really striking realization that the personal flaws we see in people are often just hidden systemic pressures bubbling right up to the surface. Oh man, the hospital ER scene, it is just pure black comedy. You've got Josh, completely desperate for immediate help, actively seeking out a Filipino nurse, based on this positive yet entirely stereotypical assumption that they will be kinder. But guess what? His personal desperation completely fails against the cold, unyielding structure of the hospital. It just goes to show how our personal biases and sheer urgency mean absolutely nothing when they crash into rigid, uncaring systems.
And don't even get me started on the whole performative nature of professional relationships.
Troy and Josh act like these casual, joking buddies to each other's faces, yet Troy will literally step behind a tree to make a secret, highly calculated phone call about Josh's money issues. It perfectly captures those hypocritical, hidden hierarchies that actually dictate the workplace, completely shattering the whole illusion of casual office friendships. Because look, when you lack a safety net, no university degree, no stable job, no health insurance, your stability is incredibly fragile. The absence of these basic structural privileges quietly pushes people toward these morally complex survival tactics, things like fraud or money laundering just to keep their heads above water. The line between right and wrong blurs real fast when your actual survival is on the line.
Finally, Section 5, the power of storytelling.
Now, our narrative approach here wouldn't be complete without looking at how the creator actually pulled this whole thing off. The show brilliantly blends Korean and Western cultures, and they cast these massive global stars like Yoon Yoo-jung and Song Kang-ho in incredibly grounded, completely ordinary local roles. Subverting our grand expectations of these actors absolutely skyrockets the show's immersive realism. It's brilliant. And writer Lee Sung-jin's empathy? It is just astounding. Think about it. Capturing the authentic voice of everyone from a super wealthy, elderly corporate chairwoman all the way to an underpaid hourly worker isn't just about having a good imagination. It requires a lifetime of listening, observing, and having a profound dedication to understanding the intricate, messy details of other people's lives.
Bringing our narrative approach full circle, right back to the author, actually sitting down and analyzing the show gave her a vital intellectual release from the isolation of new motherhood. Instead of just letting all her messy, complicated thoughts evaporate into the blur of her daily routine, she used this analysis to give them a tangible space to exist. And really, that is the true catharsis of writing.
Which leads us to our final provocative thought for today. The show served as an incredible mirror for this mother's deepest fears and unresolved anxieties. So what stories are you using as a mirror to understand your own unresolved realities? Something to chew on the next time you press play. Thanks for joining us for this explainer.